with massive anticipation for the follow-up of one of the most talked-about pay-per-views of the year expected on Raw. WCW 6 days from the World War III pay-per-view was looking to set up its next major event, with the Starrcade main event set to be announced on the night, while local advertising in Starrcade's venue at the MCI Center in Washington already promoting the expected headliner of Goldberg vs. Nash for the WCW title. WCW's unopposed hour saw several matches, including a title change in the opening match, with Juventud going over Kidman in 12 minutes to win the Cruiserweight title, in addition to the line of limousines and security arriving outside the building for the continuation of the Hogan President angle later tonight. Ric Flair opened the crossover segment cutting a promo on Eric Bischoff after he kicked Arn Anderson out of the building, before bringing out former Horseman Barry Windham making his WCW return after being part of the NWA angle in the WWF earlier in the year. Eric came out saying that he fired Windham years ago and he's not working for the company, with Flair saying that he will hire him back from his own money. A day after months of angles culminated in the Survivor Series Deadly Games tournament with the payoff of arguably the greatest written and executed storyline of all time, that Shamrock joined Vince and Shane to be crowned the corporate champion and win his first WWF title. The company, who also debuted a new opening video and show graphics, was setting up for a huge boost of interest on the night with one of the hottest Raw shows in history, starting with Vince McMahon introducing his now corporate champion to mega heat from the crowd. Rock, in a move that went against all business tradition after catching fire as a babyface in the last 3 months to go neck and neck with Austin, turned back heel in an all-time memorable swerve that stunned the Kiel Center last night, with the building ready to erupt for his first babyface title win. Rock started his follow-up promo explanation saying that he never sold out but got ahead, before turning on the crowd saying that his association with McMahon helped establish himself at the top of the business, while bringing up the crowd chants when turning on him during parts of his rookie year, saying that he never forgot that and will make sure they don't forget it as well. Rock completed the turn saying that the people's eyebrow and people's elbow now turned corporate, while also for the first time referring to the elbow as the most electrifying move in the business. Rock, Vince and Shane then went through all the twists and turns in the months leading up to the reveal, with wrestling television storytelling taken to the next level, in a storyline that Raw head writer Vince Russo called the best of his career, as Raw opened at record levels with a 5.3 rating. WCW's second quarter saw Eddie Guerrero vs. Rey Mysterio, with Eddie offering Rey a stipulation after trying to recruit him to the LWO in the last few weeks, saying that if Rey beats him he will leave him alone, but if Eddie wins Rey must join the group. Eddie and Rey went 5 minutes before Juventud interfered, accidentally costing Rey the match. Raw's opening segment continued with Steve Austin coming out to a massive reaction, with Vince reminding him of a clause in his new contract that prohibits him from laying a hand on McMahon unless he's provoked, as Austin responded that the contract also had a title shot for the day after Survivor Series on Raw. Vince said that it wasn't active as Austin already had his shot last night, before Austin brought a legally binding contract along with a message from Judge Mills Lane to set up Rock vs. Austin for the title tonight, with the over 21-minute segment picking up big to a 5.6 rating. WCW's biggest angle of the night was also one of the most unexpected of the year, as Bam Bam Bigelow arrived to the building in a major surprise, taking out security in the backstage area. Bigelow, who headlined an ECW pay-per-view just 2 weeks earlier, interrupted a Guerrero vs Putski match, calling out Goldberg to a big reaction. Goldberg came out to take the challenge moments later, starting a wild pull-apart brawl with the ring filled with security in seconds to end the strong invasion angle, with Bischoff also putting the blame on J.J. Dillon and firing him outside the building, with the impromptu segment leading to the first viewership gain of the night for WCW after Raw's big start, jumping from a 3.7 to 3.9 while Raw dropped from a 5.6 to 5.4. Shamrock came out for a promo saying that he was screwed at Survivor Series before calling out Bossman for a match tonight, along with Venus vs Henry going 3 minutes, with Chyna making her TV return. The follow-up of the Goldberg-Bigelow chaos saw WCW continuing to climb, as while Saturn vs Conan was going on, Eric responded in a backstage promo with Gene near Goldberg's locker room, saying that he's not gonna let anyone just come out and invade the show to take on Goldberg, hyping the 60-man pay-per-view match, which Bigelow will not be a part of as he's not working for the company, with the winner said to be the next challenger, as Goldberg demanded Eric to feed him Bigelow tonight, with the Goldberg-Bischoff segment on the back of Saturn and Conan going 7 minutes, gained over 400,000 viewers to WCW's peak of the night 4.2 rating, while Raw had a Goldust and Blackman vs Jarrett and Blue Blazer tag match, ending up with Owen Hart coming out later to continue the angle of him under the costume, with the gap between the shows of 1 rating point was also the joint closest of the night. WCW started its third hour with a video package on the Hall and Nash program 6 days from the rematch on Sunday, with Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell coming out for a promo, as with the Rick and Judy vs Scott and Buff tag match booked last week. Plans changed during the week, with Judy suffering legit injury that saw WCW turn it into an angle, with her revealing in a promo from the hospital earlier that it was Scott who attacked and injured her. Scott and Buff, along with their personal referee, then brought out a Steiner mother, with Scott telling Buff that since he let him attack Bagwell's mother, now he can do the same to his, bringing out Rick Steiner to take them out. At the same time, Raw opened its top of the hour quarter, having Godfather make an offer to Regal, along with Kane continuing to attack whoever is in his way in the promoted Shamrock vs Bossman match, going 4 minutes until a double DQ finish, with both taking out the referee and continuing to brawl, with the Bossman Shamrock match along with the Godfather segment gaining over 700,000 viewers to Raw's peak quarter 5.8 rating. With WCW having several stadium shows already booked for December and January with huge ticket demand, the WWF responded in an attempt to top it in February, with the first Stadium Raw announced for the Toronto Sky Dome in what is expected to be the highest attendance ever for a TV program in company history. Raw had 2 major angles back-to-back between 10:15 to 10:30. First, with Vince and Shane coming out to stop the Shamrock Bossman brawl, with Vince recruiting Shamrock to the corporation, offering him to join the family, while minutes later during a Brood vs LOD match, Hawk was seen climbing up the Titantron threatening to jump, playing off the recent Road Warriors' problems with Animal teaming up with Droz in the last few weeks, ending up with Droz climbing attempting to help while subtly pushing him down. After a week of big media coverage with Hulk Hogan's presidential campaign continuing to be heavily featured in high-profile shows across the country, including him making several appearances on morning talk shows to work the angle as a shoot, Hogan came out for another presidential speech thanking the media for their coverage and the public for showing him massive support to be the next president, as the publicity stunt couldn't have worked better for Hogan, with his announcement in some circles getting as much coverage as Governor Jesse Ventura's victory. Hogan then introduced his new personal intern in a Monica Lewinsky imposter, before going over to NWO business, calling out Bischoff to the ring. Hogan said that Eric seemed to be occupied with protecting Goldberg earlier in the night in the first tease of Hogan and Bischoff problems in the NWO run, with Scott Hall coming out moments later saying that when they started the NWO, "For Life" was not a slogan as they really live it, asking Eric where his head at, with Eric responding that they will take care of personal issues backstage, ending up with Hall laying out Bischoff and Hogan attacking Hall to bring out Nash for the save, in what became a rare situation of an on-screen interaction between all three original NWO members and another tease of the Outsiders reunion, with the segment jumping over 500,000 viewers to a joint peak 4.2 rating. Bret Hart vs Chris Benoit in their second match against each other went 7 minutes in WCW's final quarter, doing a 4.1 rating, ending up with Bret looking to add Benoit to his injury list by hitting him with a chair for the DQ finish, continuing in another post-match beatdown until Dallas Page made his return after 3 weeks out to a massive reaction. Page responded to Bret's challenge to hand him the US belt, setting up Page vs Bret on the pay-per-view Sunday. With the clock already at 10:58 during Page's promo and Goldberg vs Bigelow still to come, the company took its final commercial break in bad timing up against one of the biggest matches in wrestling TV history going uninterrupted at the same time. Raw's final quarter started with McMahon's crew finally finding Mankind to start a boiler room brawl just before the main event, with Vince and Shane coming out moments later saying that tonight is Austin's last chance to ever be champion before introducing Rock to the ring. Austin and Rock started fast in an intense brawl in front of one of the hottest atmospheres in history, with the Rupp Arena erupting for pretty much the entire duration of the match, as Raw during the quarter featuring the Mankind Brawl, main event entrances and first 2 minutes of the match climbed to a 5.5 rating. Goldberg and Bigelow put in a bad position against the huge main event on Raw, made their entrances at over 11:02 p.m. with no real chance of picking up viewers as the match ended in 30 seconds with another brawl on the entranceway before getting to the ring, leading to the show plummeting to a 2.7 rating during its 4-minute overrun, 2 of which happened in a commercial break. At the same time, the Rock vs Austin title match in front of the rabid crowd continued, going 8 minutes, crossing into the overrun, ending up with Austin hitting the stunner and Mankind and Taker coming out for the finish, with the match picking up huge with over 2.3 million viewers to a 7.3 rating, the highest peak ever recorded on a Raw broadcast. As Rock's first night as champion could not have gone better, with Raw shattering all overall Monday Night Wars records, drawing a 5.5 rating, in a 24-hour period that between the pay-per-view payoff last night, the record-setting main event on the way to WrestleMania 15 and the long-term implications coming out of it, with every metric of business taken to the next level going forward, can be called the official day the WWF entered the peak of the boom period.